Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Momona Tamada about the Babysitters Club, which is on Netflix. Season 2 recently just dropped. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for your time.
Of course, thank you so much for having me.
Is it a really is it a cool feeling when season 2, like what was it like when season 2 dropped compared to season 1? Because season 1 you're getting kind of established with the characters and the storylines. Then there's a lot of familiarity. It drops for season 2. What's that like for you in the cast and crew when season 2 actually drops, Ramona?
Yeah, I think like the first season, it was kind of like we were questioning, like we didn't know exactly how everything was going to turn out. But for season two, because we kind of already had, I guess, kind of, you could even say a fan base, it was really comforting to see that everyone was really excited to watch season two. And also just kind of prepping for all that feedback that we were going to get. It was definitely nerve-wracking, but also very exciting at the same time.
Now you have 2 seasons of playing Claudia. So what is that like in terms of seeing kind of the growth of your character from season 1 to season 2 specifically?
Yeah, I think playing Claudia has been a journey for sure. She's a very kind of interesting character. So being able to kind of dive into her and how she would kind of present these certain emotions was really fun. But also, again, once a challenge as well. Especially in season two, we kind of see this deeper side to Claudia. So, although I kind of got used to playing this fun, bubbly side of her, I also had to tap into what it would be like when she was being more emotional. So it was a lot of fun to get to play around with that.
Oh, absolutely. I had a chance to speak to your fellow castmates Shay and Malia about this as well. Obviously this is based on a very popular book series, basically.
Hmm.
So obviously there's going to be a little bit of like a pressure to kind of translate basically those amazing books to the screen and everything. But I'm sure the excitement kind of took over compared to the nerves, right? Like it's just an excitement to kind of go rather than pressure. Is that what it was like for
Yeah.
you?
For sure. Obviously, like you mentioned, there is kind of that pressure just because the Babysitters Club is just so iconic within itself. So going into that, I think we were all very nervous, but it was really great to have each other there. I think that a lot of times when we were questioning the choices that we were making, we could always reach out to the girls and be like, "Do you think you think that this would work?" And it's just super comforting to kind of not be alone in this and to
Yep.
kind of experience that as a group. So yeah, I would say for me, I was more excited to bring this character to life than I was nervous just because of that extra support I had.
Oh, absolutely. And in a lot of capacities, Momona Tamada is part of the Netflix family because of the Babysitters Club. But you worked on the To All the Boys films as well, so there's that familiarity there. When did
Yes.
it officially hit you and your family and friends how incredible it is the fact that your movies and TV shows drop on Netflix and instantly 190 countries have access to see your work? Like, what's that like for
Ugh,
you?
I mean, I feel like I to this day I'm still like fully trying to process it, but the second that BSC released in on like season 1 released and I was able to like see myself on Netflix, I was like, this is crazy. Like this is insane. And just I think all the feedback that we were receiving is something that helped make it feel more real. And yeah, there's moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm on Netflix. That's crazy, and it's such a dream come true. And I'm just so grateful for kind of all the opportunities I've had to work with them.
You look at yourself and the other cast members. I mean, you started season 1 together, back for another season. A lot of you are friends because of the show and everything. What's it kind of like having those kind of relationships with your cast members where instantly it just becomes kind of like you're working and then you keep in touch all the time? Obviously, that's going to maybe happen. It could happen more than people think because you're with each other all the time, but it seems like a lot of you are pretty close after working on this.
Oh yeah. It's our friendship I would say is very rare. We just all of us clicked and
Yep.
there's like not a single weak link. We're all so close and I know it can be hard to believe like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are all really that close off screen as well." Like it's seven girls. Like that can be hard. But no, we are like the best, like such good friends. And when the cameras aren't rolling, we're always like having fun talking, eating all the snacks in Claude's room. And I think you can really see that, especially in the second season. Our chemistry, I feel like, really comes to life. And if you've seen any of the behind the scenes photos and videos, you'd know that, you know, I think the relationship that all of us share is very special and kind of irreplaceable.
Now I'm just double check. I'm pretty sure, but you did obviously the To All the Boys films before the Babysitters Club, correct?
Yes, it was like a few weeks before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't okay. So did you kind so because the Babysitters Club is obviously a very popular series. People are loving season two as well. You worked on To All the Boys, so you kind of had this kind of idea of how big Netflix projects would be, right? Because you worked on that, or were you still a bit taken back and surprised by how big it became?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all kind of had this idea that Babysitters Club already has a platform, like we think it's going to do well. So we had that to kind of estimate off of, but it wasn't until it dropped that we kind of really realized that wow, this show is it's doing well, which is incredible. And speaking of like I guess To All the Boys, that experience being able to do like kind of be a part of that before BSC was a really good learning experience for me. I was very new to the whole like world of the film
Oh,
industry, so
absolutely.
yeah, so watching how everyone kind of presents themselves on set, on like on camera and off camera, it was a really great learning experience that I think I'll always remember.
Season two has been out for a good amount of time now, so there's been an opportunity to kind of, soak it all in and think about it. Have you thought about takeaways in terms of what you're hoping the audience gets out of season two? It's packed, there's a lot happening, but what do you hope they get out of it when they watch season two of Babysitter's Club, Mona?
Yeah, I really hope, especially in this season, I hope they can really take away kind of the power of friendship the girls have.
Yep.
I would say a lot this season was focused on their friendship and how they always have each other's back,
Mhm.
which I think is very special. And for Claudia, I think it's like in her character specifically, I think it's really important for people to see that, you know, what you see on the outside may not exactly be exactly what's like happening on the inside. You know, when you see Claudia, you see her as like this popular girl, like she has the best wardrobe and all that. But in reality, there's some things that she also struggles with. So I hope that people won't feel alone and they can feel like they have characters to relate to.
And I'm very curious because, like I said, based on an amazing book series, but this series wants to be its own thing and be based on it and do amazing things as well. When you audition for the show and Claudia and everything, how I'm just curious, how much of it was a combination of going based on Claudia in the books compared to, Momona Tamada being able to bring new different kind of elements to Claudia. Like I'm curious about that.
Yeah, well before that we read a lot of the like I read a lot of the books
Yep.
just to kind of understand her as a character. Especially her I guess like like oh, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a specific book that kind of just like describes Claude's life.
Yep.
So when I was making decisions and scenes, I would always kind of remember that. But I think as time went on, I kind of it became more like a second nature to me. So I felt like I was able to incorporate a bit more of myself into Claudia. Obviously, as I kind of work with this character more, I feel like my nerves go down a little bit as we go on. So yeah, I would say at the beginning it was definitely more like trying to be as perfect like Claudia as possible, but then I realized that, I think a piece of me is Claudia as well, so I can tap into that a bit more.
Oh, for sure. A lot of people in the entertainment industry, like the Mona Tamada acts, you're acting in the Babysitters Club playing Claudia and everything. A lot of people end up kind of wearing many hats. They go behind the camera, they act, they write, they direct, they act. Obviously, you're focusing on acting right now, but have you thought about, maybe experimenting behind the camera as well and doing some writing and directing down the road as well, Mona?
Yeah, I would love to. I think especially kind of because I'm a part of this new generation of filmmakers as well, I would love to, shadow and direct or
Yep.
like just kind of see what that whole realm is like. I think for me, after working in this industry, it sparked my interest in that as well. And
Mhm.
now I didn't know this before, but I feel like if I really wanted to, I could definitely take a step in that direction. And I would love to, kind of gain more knowledge on directing and writing and producing. I think that would be a really fun experience.
Oh, absolutely. Besides acting and storytelling, do you have other hobbies or interests? And those hobbies and interests that you're going to say right now, have you thought about maybe, playing a role based on that? Like, is there anything else you're into besides, acting and storytelling specifically?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always said this, but I love baking. I've always been a huge fan of that. I always think that's really fun. And recently, I've kind of gotten more into like film photography. I'm still very new to it. I just think it's super fun. And we were joking. I was joking with Shay about this, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, you're literally turning into Claudia. Like, this is so funny." But yeah, I know I've never really thought of kind of bringing that into a role, but I really love these things, and I think it'd be fun in the future to kind of incorporate that.
So if they need a guest judge for one of those baking competitions on Food Network, they know where to call,
I'm
right?
Yes, 100%. I would love that.
I want to thank you so much for taking some time to chat about the Babysitters Club. Thank you so much, Momona.
Of course. Thank you so much for your time as well.
Yeah, so it's out now, season 2 on Netflix. So if they haven't watched it yet, they could watch it. And you know what? If they have watched it, you know what they could do? They could watch it again, right?
100%.
And where can people follow you on social media to keep update with everything? Instagram?
Yes, Instagram, TikTok, it's just Momona Tamada. No spaces, no capitals, just my name.
Amazing. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative. For previous episodes, you're going to be able to catch Momona Tamada as Claudia in season 2 of the Babysitters Club on Netflix. Until next time, this is Momona and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.